so many questions. Why? How? Are you paying attention? Do you see the lie? Are you going to get busy? Yeah, they're scared if we do. Yes, it's happening. Yeah, they betrayed us and we know it. The line's been crossed in the sand and the fire's been fanned. All the people demand to hear the plot that you planned. You won't be trusted anymore. All right, good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, hump day. Don't be a chump day. Don't you dare crump day. It is the 16th of July, 2025. These are the WTF reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and I hope you're enjoying the broadcast. And if you are, if you're listening on Rumble or YouTube or BitChute or something, please click like, subscribe, and share. And, visit our website, TheWTFReports.com. Do business with our advertisers. And, hey, keeping the lights on is a little bit of a challenge these days. So, anyway, okay, where to get started today? There's so much to cover and so little time to cover it. But I need to follow up with a couple of things that have been going on in the past. And the other day, I was playing an audio clip from Francesca Albanese. And she's been exposing all the crap that's been going on in Israel and the International Criminal Court. And, of course, those who are in alliance with this regime are fighting back. Yes, they are. Anyway, I just want to revisit this. Here's Francesca Albanese a few days ago in regard to the war crimes that Israel has been committing. Give a listen to this.
What's happening in Gaza is the shame of the century. Gaza has been erased. There is almost nothing left other than the despair of people who continue to perish there. Look at the acts of torture. Look at who's being killed. Doctors, nurses, students, mothers, children. 17,000 children. To look at what the soldiers have done and said, and then have the courage to say that this is not genocide. This genocide would have not been possible without the shocking cover-up by the media. The role that corporate media played in justifying crimes, in spreading misinformation, like the 40 beheaded babies.
We have some really disturbing new information.
Okay, now she's playing a clip about when they put out that story that there were 40 beheaded babies, and it turns out it was a big lie. Again, you won't be trusted anymore.
Out of Israel, the Israeli Prime Minister's spokesman just confirmed babies and toddlers were found with their heads decapitated in Kfar Aza in southern Israel after Hamas attacks in the kibbutz over the weekend.
Basic ethical principles governing their profession.
I choked up earlier reading this new revelation about 40 babies being killed.
Oh my God.
And some of them being beheaded. And I was like, how can any human being do that to a baby?
They didn't. That's because... sorry, Pierce. You've been, as they say, when you consume intellectual fecal matter, you end up with stuff for brains.
The role of international media, of Western media, in acting in defense of the acts of a genocidal state. This is unprecedented, but it's also revealing of the global situation we are facing, the fact that this is not just the genocide of the Palestinians committed by Israel. A number of Western countries are complicit, and so this is an opportunity to interrogate the system we live in, the checks and balances we have as a global community, how people in the West trying to stop the genocide have been repressed. There is momentum and goodwill to make a change, and people feel at loss because they look at their politicians who are in bad faith, especially those who claim to be human rights lawyers.
A siege is appropriate.
cutting off power, cutting off water? Sakir?
Well, I think that Israel does have that right.
They know that you cannot advocate for starvation. They know that you cannot doubt that a genocide is ongoing where the International Court of Justice has recognized the plausibility of genocide. You should act upon the recognition of that plausibility.
I'm well aware of the definition of genocide, and that is why I've never described this and referred to it as genocide.
This genocide is also the consequence of the enduring impunity that Israel has been granted since its foundation. Israel has been allowed to violate hundreds of UN resolutions. And this is the result. A state that behaves as if it was above the law.
That's right. That's exactly right. So what happened? Now, she made these statements, and she's been very vocal about these atrocities being committed by Israel. And yes, they are atrocities. So what was the response from the US State Department? I played this yesterday, and I'll play it again. Here it is.
Additionally, the United States is imposing sanctions on UN Human Rights Council Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese for her abuse of her role. And in recent weeks, she also targeted U.S. companies in an unacceptable campaign of political and economic warfare. The United States will take whatever actions we deem necessary and appropriate to protect our sovereignty, Israel, and any other U.S. ally from illegitimate actions by the ICC. The ICC's actions set a dangerous precedent for lawfare that endangers our national security and foreign policy and infringes on the sovereignty of the United States. The President declared a national emergency under the EO that emphasizes, quote, the United States will impose tangible and significant consequences on those responsible for the ICC's transgressions.
The ICC's transgressions? What about the U.S. and Israel's transgressions? Yeah, folks, I mean, it's just, the hits just keep on coming. Well, guess what? There's somebody out there, there's a rapper that did a song for, let me see if I can pull this up here. Where is it? Let me see. I had it here a little while ago. Oh, yeah, here it is. Check this out. Somebody knows what Francesca's doing, and they've got the full support. Check this out. Here it is. Let me see. Okay. I didn't do my recordings today. I should have. Anyway, here it is.
Francesca Albanese has a list of companies making money from genocide in the land of Palestine. Lockheed Martin, Elbit Systems, Leonardo BAE Systems, Boeing, General Dynamics, RTX Corporation, Fanuc Corporation, Rana L Electronic Industries, Israel Aerospace Industries, Palantir Technologies. Francesca Albanese has a list of companies making money from genocide in the land of Palestine. Volvo, Hyundai, Heidelberg Materials, Mercavim, Microsoft, Alphabet, Caterpillar, Amazon, Chevron, BP, Glencore, Petrobras, Newmed Energy, Construcciones Auxiliar de Ferrocarriles.
Wow.
Francesca Albanese has a list of companies making money from genocide in the land of Palestine. BNP Paribas, Barclays, BlackRock, Vanguard, Inco, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan Chase, Allianz, AXA, AP Moller Maersk. Francesca Albanese has a list of companies making money from genocide in the land of Palestine. Booking.com, Airbnb, Keller Williams Realty, Carrefour, Benetton, PepsiCo, Tuva, Netafim, Mekarot, Métis, Technical University of Munich, University of Edinburgh, Europe's Horizon Europe Research Program. Francesca Albanese has a list of companies making money from genocide in the land of Palestine.
Here it is. Francesca Albanese has a list of companies making money from genocide, and they're going down. How many companies? I didn't realize how many companies are actually profiting from this absolute massacre. This is what it's all about. I mean, this is how corrupt, just unbelievably corrupt we have become, because money is now God. Talked about this many years ago, that bumper sticker that had a cross, it had a Star of David, it had an Egyptian ankh, it had a crescent moon and a star, and then it had a dollar sign. And that asked the question, which one do you worship? Don't answer. we already know. And that's the truth. Money has become God, and that's why this entire situation that we're in right now is destined for collapse. Any system of government or any system at all that is dependent upon deception and lies is unsustainable. And that's what we're living under right now. As a matter of fact, yesterday, the president of China, Xi Jinping, was meeting with Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov of Russia. And he made some really strong statements about the United States and Europe. He said, and I quote, "China and Russia are not building an alliance. We are building a new global reality. The West must either adapt or disappear." And he went on to say that the West, and I'm again quoting, he says, "The West wants others to live in perpetual poverty so that their banks can remain rich." And then he made the big statement here before Lavrov, again, that's the foreign minister of Russia. And and also the Iran foreign minister, how do I pronounce his name? Arashi? Anyway, so Xi Jinping declared, and I quote, "We do not seek to rule the world, only to liberate it from those who believe they own it." Now, who do you suppose he's talking about? He's talking about the United States and Europe. So that's they're not wrong, folks. They're absolutely not wrong. Anyway, I wanted to share a couple of things on that. Again, Israel is now under the microscope, and I reported yesterday that many countries are banding together and saying, look, we're going to have to have military intervention to stop Israel's genocide, massacre, annihilation, extermination. That's what it is. But Israel's our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest ally. Yeah. Israel is our greatest ally. Remember, folks, a lie told often enough becomes the truth. And now people are starting to realize that the October 7th attack was indeed an inside job. It's starting to come to the front line. And of course, a lot of people are saying, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. That's crazy. Why would they do that? It's called the Hannibal Directive. If you don't know what the Hannibal Directive is, do some research. Look it up, the Hannibal Directive. But this was posted on Twitter yesterday. Give a listen to this. Oh, well, I didn't have the sound on. Let's try that again.
I think the time has come that the world stops being scammed and gaslit by Israel, who has now been found to have killed their own citizens. Israel admits to killing its own citizens, Jewish citizens, on the 7th of October. Israel's own army, the IDF, killed 364 Israeli Jewish citizens on the 7th of October.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right now. Remember the concert that was going on? Yeah, that's what she's referring to. And she's also, behind her, you can see the newspaper articles or the posted articles that she's referring to. And again, if you go back and look at some of the video footage of what happened there at this concert, and you look at all the cars, they're all melted. How did the cars get melted? It wasn't because of a forest fire, because there's no forest there. Anyway, let her continue.
If you want to see what that looked like, there's a YouTube video you can look up. But understand, this is very disturbing. It's very confronting. Here you can see people running. They're targeting them.
She's pointing to a video that was taken from the helicopters. And people running, and they're just being gunned down.
And then they shoot them. If they shoot their own people, they don't give a fuck.
Oh, I didn't realize that was in there. Sorry about that. But that's what's been happening. And again, I can't tell you, you've got to do your own research. And again, I will point out, and I've mentioned this numerous times on this broadcast, go to Rumble and do a search. I will read the title of this documentary. It's about, it's not quite an hour long, but this documentary is entitled, quote, Israel was behind the attacks of October 7th, 2023, and it was an inside job.
It's a documentary by John Hankey, and it's got numerous interviews with IDF soldiers and people who were on the inside that were saying, hey, it didn't go down like the media told you. Yeah, that area of the fence where Hamas broke through the fence, yeah, the fence had been shut down. That's the most secure barrier on the planet. They've got infrared sensors, they got video sensors, they have all kinds. A cat can't get through that fence without them knowing it. But they shut the whole thing down, and they moved all of the guards and soldiers away. And then along comes Hamas and breaks right through. That's the main story, of course. Hamas did it. Well, let's not forget, Hamas was created by Israel. Do some research. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you because the whole story is starting to come unraveled. And I have to ask the mainstream media and all the other media as well. I mean, I'm very well documented and on the record of being no friend of the media for decades. But it's not just the ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, Fox, MSNBC. It's not just that group. It's also Newsmax. It's also One America News. It's also Real America's Voice. It's also Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's all of the conservative news networks that have popped up in the past 10 years, and they're still pushing this alliance with Israel, our greatest ally, our greatest ally, our greatest ally, over and over and over again. I got to ask you guys, how are you going to backwalk this? Are you going to do the Michael Jackson moonwalk? How are you going to back off of this? Because the world is seeing it now. The world is actually seeing Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, and his regime for what it is. And oh, by the way, there's big turmoil going on in Israel right now. The ultra-Orthodox Jews are fighting tooth and nail against Bibi and his administration because, they haven't been up to this point available to be drafted into the IDF. Well, now, since they just want to keep building up their army and bombing other neighboring countries and claiming victimhood, so now Bibi wants to draft these ultra-Orthodox Jews into the IDF, and they're saying, no, absolutely not. So his base is falling away. So anyway, there's so much unraveling, and I got to tell you, there's going to be hell to pay for a lot of these networks out there that have been, banging the drum for, Israel is our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest ally. Now people are starting to take a look and say, wait a second, maybe those 3 words that crazy broadcaster on the WTF reports was right. What 3 words, Dave? Bribery, coercion, blackmail. Yeah, and maybe that's really happening. It's really happening, So, but anyway, like I said, this whole thing is starting to come unraveled, and everybody's paying attention to it. As a matter of fact, Candace Owens was talking about the refugees, and I tell you, she's really kicking some butt. Anyway, here's what Candace Owens had to say about this.
I mean, the Bella Hadid story is stunning. These people came on ships holding up signs about World War II saying, please, we're refugees, let us into your home.
Okay, yeah, she's talking about, in 1948 when they established, Israel as a Zionist nation, okay? The Palestinians there understood what had happened in World War II. And they opened their arms and their homes to the refugees, to the Jews that had come into their land. And here's what happened.
And the Palestinians opened their doors to them. This is the story of Muhammad Hadid and Bella Hadid, the model, Gigi Hadid. He was an infant. His mother had just given birth. They allowed these refugees, these Polish refugees, to live in their homes as refugees because they wanted to help them following a world war.
Okay, I'm going to pause it. The Polish refugees, they're not from the Middle East. And again, that is backed up by the ancestry study done by, what was it, university? Oh, gosh. I'm having John Hopkins. Yeah, John Hopkins University did an ancestry study and found 97.5% of the Israelis are not indigenous. They're from Eastern Europe, just like Candace Owens was saying. And they're also from North America. Okay, go ahead, Candace.
And then one day, they came back to their houses, and the doors were locked. They came home, the doors were locked, and guns were being held, and they were told, leave right now, or some soldiers are going to come murder you. Do you guys understand? Just go through that in your head.
Yeah, they opened up their doors, they let them in, they let the refugees in, and then they come home and find that they're locked out, and if you try to get in, they're going to kill you.
Wherever it is that you live right now in the world, imagine your family has lived on that land for hundreds and hundreds of years. That this has been your home for hundreds of years. And then you say, oh, you know what? The Ukrainian war is happening right now. I feel really bad. I'm going to allow a Ukrainian to live in my house, maybe here in Tennessee, live in my house. And you allow them and you share with them. And you do this out of the kindness of your heart, right? Because you are being taken over, perhaps by the Spirit of Christ and charity. And one day you come back to your house and the doors are locked. And those refugees that you let in are telling you that if you try to open that door, you are going to die. That is how the land was given to them. That is a fact. No one can dispute that. There was no money. There was no trade. There was no conversation. They were effectively hijacked in their own homes. So the entire story of Israel has been immoral, okay? And it has really hinged upon our ignorance. We have all been ignorant, and it's time to stop. Because once you know the truth, now it is your burden to carry, okay? If you are truly ignorant and you support something, as I did, back when I was a Zionist, hitting the ground, talking about Israel, tweeting about Israel and how we must support Israel, then that's okay. That's going to be acceptable because one day we're all going to have to account before our Creator. I have to hope that that is going to be acceptable, that it was truly ignorance and I believed that I was doing the right thing. But you now know this is not the right thing. And if you keep doing that, thing out of fear, all right, out of, I don't know, a jerk knee reaction because you're scared of being canceled. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be you when you meet your maker. I wouldn't want to be you when you have to stand before the Lord and account for what you allowed to take place.
Amen.
Because those children are dying. They are being burned to death. They had been carpet bombed. The access to those images, it's at your fingertips.
Yes, it is. It's all right there. Again, we've been witnessing genocide in real time. And sadly, most people are not saying anything about it. Your silence is consent. Anyway, I wanted to share a couple of things. We got to keep focused on this, folks. And again, on the mainstream media, they're going to have real hell to pay. How are they going to back up? How are they going to backtrack this whole thing? You know, more people now are paying attention to who's being paid. AIPAC, yeah. Again, over $230 million went to Donald Trump. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here, and I have some unrelated news that's very interesting. Stay tuned.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by going to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and it'll take you down to a little window. You can click on that and go to the GetMoreTank.com website, read all the technical data and specifications, how it works and why it's a win-win situation. Get More Tank will improve your mileage, depending upon your make, model, and year of your vehicle, anywhere between 15 and 20%. And plus, your engine will run cleaner and you'll have more power. This stuff works. It's a no-brainer, folks. If you get More Tank with the promo codes, it's $20. You're going to get 5 tablets, 1 tablet for each tank of gas. And if you get 20% better mileage, that means the 5th tank is free. Spend $20, get a free tank of gas. That's, it maths out just right. So anyway, Get More Tank. Absolutely. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, and check it out. All right. Also, while you're there, hey, check out the T-shirts, the baseball caps, and the coffee cups that we've got for the WTF reports. And if you want to support the broadcast, you can also make a donation. We've got a GoFundMe there because we want to expand this into a full-blown podcast, and we're going to have to upgrade equipment and pay for all kinds of space on the platforms. So if you want to help us out, make a donation at our GoFundMe. And again, that's located at our website, TheWTFReports.com. Okay, I could go on and on about this issue of Israel. I mean, that is not going to go away, but there are other things that are going on. Now, we all know over the past few weeks, we've been seeing floods and extreme weather events all over the country. And everybody's saying, wait a second, how is this happening? Why is this happening? Well, there's a gentleman who, and I can't remember, I've seen this guy before. I've seen this guy, Ricardo Bossi, who is from Australia. Of course, he's working with the White Hats, shall we say, the Global Alliance, supposedly, to try to fight the deep state, the New World Order. Okay, but anyway, there was one of these guys that works with him. I cannot remember the guy's name, but anyway, he posted this video a couple years ago, and this may have something to do with what we're seeing today. Give a listen to this.
Making this video on January 15th of 2022.
Okay, he made it on January 15th. That's over 3 years ago. He made this video 3 years ago, folks. Give a listen.
In order to give you all a heads up in regards to what's about to happen over the next few years, but specifically over the next few months. Now, over the past 2 years, a lot of our power has been taken away. A lot of our rights have been stripped. In many ways, we've given our power away because we've been induced into this state of fear collectively around the world from this so-called pandemic. Now, what's going to happen over the next few months is a change in tactic from the individuals doing what they're doing. The question is why? And the answer is because so many of us have been waking up that a pandemic just isn't going to do it. It's run its course. They've done whatever they could to stretch this as long as they can. But the next crisis is going to arise, and the coronavirus and this so-called pandemic will no longer be a problem, meaning Omicron is going to dwindle down. Everything is going to dwindle down. Our rights already have been given away. What is the next thing? While Omicron over the next few months will be dismissed as just another flu or a cold and everything's fine, the next thing that's going to come to fruition, the next tactic that's going to arise is called weather manipulation. Those in power who have the ability to do it, who intentionally do this in order to control, to enslave, and to suppress, are going to use weather modification technology to create a man-made version of a climate crisis. That could mean you're going to start seeing tsunamis around the world, earthquakes around the world, wildfires around the world, hurricanes, tornadoes, all these so-called natural disasters that are not natural. I can guarantee you that. Why would they do such a thing? Well, again, the current crisis has been stretched to a point where a lot of people are rising up, a lot of people are waking up, and they cannot have that. So they must change course, and they are doing that already.
They're using the weather as a weapon. Yes, and we've known this for quite some time. And there's a term for this. It's called softening the target. I mean, if you stop and think about it, if you've been economically suppressed, socially rejected because you're a conspiracy theorist, you didn't go along with the COVID scam, you didn't get the hokey pokey thingy dingy. Yeah, people are paying attention and people are waking up, and the deep state can't stand it. So, like I said, they've got to beat you down economically, socially, emotionally, and physically with all of these weather anomalies. Tornadoes and hurricanes and floods, etc., etc. He continues.
So I encourage you to open your eyes, look around you, pay attention to the form of natural disasters that, again, are not natural. Earthquakes, hurricanes, tsunamis, wildfires, floods, all these things have been happening, but are going to ramp up. It is not natural. It is being done intentionally. It is being done on purpose, and it is being done to create more chaos, more crisis, more disorder, because that's how these psychopaths control people. That's how they control us. How do we get out of it? How do we mitigate the damage along the way? Open your eyes, spread this message. Look at the pattern of natural disasters that are going to start happening. That's already happening, by the way. And once we open our eyes, once more people wake up, once more people begin to accept the fact that we are being intentionally suppressed and hurt and even enslaved in many ways by certain individuals in power, some of who we know and most of who we don't, by the way, the more people who wake up to that fact, the more likely we are to unite and collectively rise. Create a revolution where humanity comes together and says, enough is enough. This is a huge opportunity. Look around you. Look at the pattern that's going to happen with all of these so-called natural disasters and spread the word. Let everybody know. Open their eyes. And as we come together, we will rise and we will take our power back once and for all.
That's right. Anyway, yeah, I think he's dead nuts on the money. Stop and think about what's happened over the past couple of years. Okay, remember the fires in Paradise, California? You know, I mean, all these houses and were burnt to the ground, but the trees were just fine. Yeah, and all the cars that melted and the glass melted. The temperature required for that to happen is ridiculous, and yet these cars were melted, and they're standing right next to trees that didn't burn. And then there was, of course, Maui. Yeah, we remember what happened with that. You know, the blue umbrellas and the blue cars that didn't burn. Oh, it's just conspiracy. Oh, yeah, maybe so. Yeah. Does it mean we're not supposed to think about it? Okay. Yeah. Anyway, and then we had the fire in Palisades, California. This stuff is going on across the board. So, as a matter of fact, following up on that, let me see. What's this guy's name? I wrote it down. Oh gosh. Let me see. Well, I'll let him speak here. No, that's not it. No. Let's see here. This was, okay. I'm sorry. I should have had this queued up here, but I didn't do that. Let's see. Okay, okay, here it is. Here it is. This is a woman, I forget what her name is, but her website, it's Ariana Masters. ArianaMasters.com. She basically monitors all of the radar activity that's going on around the country. And she was pointing out all of these NEXRAD transmitters creating all these clouds and rain all along the Gulf Coast. Listen to this.
Huge. This is a massive story. Record this, download this. This is a potentially dangerous story for me to share, but you need to see this because we need answers. I am happy, healthy, and not prone to accidents, just saying. For context, I do a radar and satellite review show on my website every single day. So when I tell you this is freaking weird, I know what frickin' weird is. As I was reviewing radar data, I spotted an anomaly in Florida. It appears that a wave was emanating from each tower, which was subsequently pushing the cloud cover and precipitation outward. That alone shouldn't happen. The mainstream narrative is that these towers only track systems, but here we have clouds and rain being moved in a perfect circular outward fashion at the exact same speeds near each tower. And look at this area. When the clouds collide in the middle between two separate waves from two separate towers. Then as I looked along the Gulf coastline, this is where things got even more crazy. All the towers along the coastline are doing the exact same thing at the exact same times. Texas, Louisiana. When you look at Louisiana, the wave is emanating outward to the point where the clouds and precipitation spreads out equally in all directions and is then eliminated.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there because she goes on for some time. I would encourage you to check her out, ArianaMasters.com, and check out her research because like she said, she posts every single day. She monitors all the NEXRAD and the radar and all that stuff and how it relates to the cloud covers and you combine that with the cloud seeding, and then you have to scratch your head and say, wait a second, where's all this rain coming from? How is it that we're seeing all these floods? In the past week, how many floods have we seen? I can't even keep track of them. You know, Albuquerque, New Mexico, of course, Texas. Texas is still dealing with more floods. And Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., New York City, Chicago. I mean, these floods are going on all over the country. Is this being manipulated? Well, you know, just let's think outside the cage. And by the way, Eric Hecker is the guy's name. He was an employee with a high security clearance from Raytheon, and he was in Antarctica a little over 10 years ago. And he was interviewed by Tucker Carlson, and he spilled the beans on what's going on down there in Antarctica. Here's another puzzle piece for you to fit together. Give a listen to this report from Eric Hacker. This guy is amazing.
I'm very happy that you're giving me this attention and this information attention because it needs to get out to the world. I will start, since we have to be brief. I have already given all pertinent information and supporting documentation to the Senate Intelligence Committee and AARO. They informed me that all of my information will be recorded for public record and shared with Congress. It is that important. In 2010, I was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica for an entire year by Raytheon Polar Services as an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. I function in a dual-role capacity as a tradesman and a firefighter. My responsibilities required me to be more informed than most of my crew and offered me complete access to the facilities. What I learned from this unique experience needs to be shared with the entire world. The technology at the South Pole Station certainly can do what it is presented as its primary purposes, and unfortunately, much more. The Ice Cube Neutrino Detector is presented as a passive listening device for the purposes of the science as presented. But I'm going to skip right through the chase, folks. I have provided documentation that proves that the 5,160, what they call DOMs, that are embedded in the ice can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each. That gives us a long list of things to consider. It is effectively a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that I will list rapidly a few things that it can do. Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations, are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing. In addition to the ability to detect neutrinos and the exotic vehicles, I have provided documentation that shows that this is also a system for faster than light communications. In the past, Gary McKinnon has hacked NASA, found the off-world fleet, the list of captains, and it's apparent that if we have faster-than-light vehicles moving throughout this system, we're going to need faster-than-light communications. This is that facility. Unfortunately, I have other bad news. The season that I was there, 2010 to 2011, we converted from construction to operations and maintenance in both the elevated station and the detector array. Unfortunately, when they first fired it up, that was when we had the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand. There was 2 incidental shots before they were able to target it correctly. This is an earthquake generating device as well. This is the weapons of war that we have to deal with now and what Raytheon's hiding. There's an ELF system at the South Pole Station that when I arrived, I was told it was off, dismantled, and completely defunct. In my work, I will rapidly just tell you, I had to figure out the circuitry for certain other repairs, and I found that this system is, in fact, completely energized, up and running, and being utilized with the other systems for nefarious purposes as well. The Atmospheric Research Observatory is in what we call the clean air sector. I witnessed myself a very powerful green laser shooting out of the top of this facility into the cosmos. This, I believe, is a secondary form of long-range communications and or a defense system. I am not saying that we need to be scared of anything that's out there, but please understand the military-industrial complex is happy to invest all of your money in alleviating their fears. A question of power comes into play for all of these facilities that are present. I assure you, I knew what was going on. I knew the load demands of the facility, and all of these new items exceed the demand for the systems that I was presented.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I think you get the general gist of where he's going with this. There are technologies that we have never been made aware of. And yes, we do have, shall I say, anti-gravity equipment. They've been back engineering from these downed spacecraft for decades and decades and decades. And they have technology that is just, like I said, beyond our imagination. Was it, I forget who it was it Einstein who said, the truth is not stranger than anything you've ever imagined. The truth is stranger than anything you can imagine. I think there's a lot of truth in that. So what does all this mean? Let's put these puzzle pieces together, because he's saying that there is technology that they can create earthquakes. He just said that when they fired the thing up for the first time, they inadvertently created that earthquake back in 2011 in New Zealand. So if they can do that, if they can use, again, weather as a weapon, and we have to entertain that, and no, it may not be conspiracy theory, but we're allowed to think outside the cage, aren't we? You put that together with what's going on in Yellowstone. Oh my. Yeah, and by the way, I don't know if you've heard, but you remember the Mount St. Helens eruption back in 1980? Okay, well, guess what? Mount Rainier, they're recording a whole lot of seismic activity underneath Mount Rainier. And that's kind of interesting. You couple that with what's going on in Yellowstone. We all hear about the super volcano.
Pretty erratic.
Right? Sorry about that. Anyway, here's a post from Kira A. About Yellowstone.
Apparently this week, there was very erratic data at the super volcano of Yellowstone.
So I don't want to scare anyone or cause a mass panic right now, but we need to talk about Yellowstone. This is a seismograph, and this measures the vibrations in the Earth's surface.
Okay, there's a woman here, and she's showing a background here of the normal activity as far as, little minor earthquakes, et cetera, Anyway, she's pointing out on this one screen the normal activity that goes on in the Yellowstone area.
This was taken from Yellowstone on June 1st, and this is what it normally looks like. We have tiny little ticks running all the time, and those are just little micro tremors in the ground. But on June 20th, some weird activity started happening.
Wow.
And just wait for it. This is today, July 3rd.
Wow. Okay, she just showed all of this graph, and there's just insane lines all over the place.
Let me just play it back for you. This is what it should look like. And this is what it looks like today. Now, unless you live under a rock, you know that Yellowstone is a supervolcano. According to researchers, it erupts around every 600,000 years, and you guessed it, we're at 640,000 years right now.
What would happen to the world if the Yellowstone volcano erupted? Most people don't know that there is a supervolcano beneath this lake, which is in Yellowstone Park, which is located in Wyoming, which is in the US. The Yellowstone volcano is absolutely massive, as it's 37 miles long, 18 miles wide, and 4 miles deep. So if it were to erupt, the surrounding states of Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming that are closest to Yellowstone would be affected by pyroclastic flows.
Wow.
While other places in the United States would be impacted by falling ash. The amount of ash would decrease with distance from the eruption site, and due to the smoke emitted into the atmosphere, a lot of sunlight would end up reflecting back into space. This means that the entire Earth would cool by at least 10 degrees for at least 10 years.
Is that what the summer freeze is all about? Apparently,
that's some interesting stuff. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but we are dealing with psychopaths. We are dealing with people who are insane, people who believe that if they can't have it their way, then nobody's going to have it anyway. That's what the Samson option is all about. And if you don't know what the Samson option is, do some research. This is something, that Israel has been saying. Hey, look, if anybody ever attacks Israel, we've got enough nuclear capability. We'll launch all of our nuclear missiles. We'll destroy the entire world. This is how crazy these people are. But I just wanted to share that we've got to start thinking outside of the box. So, there was something else I was going to play in the first half of this broadcast. We were talking about Israel and how people all over the world are turning on this. They're realizing, that you can't keep on playing victim while you're bombing all the surrounding countries. But anyway, there's a Jewish rapper. He's turned on them. Listen to this rap tune here. Here it is.
God of Satan, Ay, fuck the synagogue of Satan. Jew not like us, we don't want no association. Giving Jewish people a misrepresentation and using Jerusalem just for gentrification. The devil in disguise, this shit identity fraud. You claiming my religion, but you don't believe in God. You killed Jesus Christ, then you killed hip-hop. My good Jewish people, it's time to drain the swamp. Exposing the snakes in the grass and the hypocrites. Eliminate all the pedophiles and degenerates. Abusing our tribe is something to hide behind. Even the Bible said you're the destruction of mankind. Ruining our culture, you the dirtiest and slimiest. You the reason that the whole world hating Zionists. You the reason that I have to deal with anti-Semitism and keep having to apologize to Muslims and Christians. Because of y'all, everybody blaming Israel. Because of y'all, civilian children are getting killed. I'm unifying Ashkenazi and Sephardic. Let's free Palestine and turn the devil to our target. Cause we long overdue for a peaceful compromise. Once we recognize there's evil on both sides. Soldiers in the IDF, I pray your soul is blessed. But understand Hamas ain't the only terrorists. Jewish privileges, I haven't received any. The Rothschild family hasn't given me a penny. George Soros hasn't given me a dime. See, he's the type of swine that's an enemy of mine. Lord, protect my bloodline from the Jeffrey Epsteins, the Harvey Weinsteins, raping and molesting, government officials who stand for ethnic cleansing, crooked politicians on the right and the left wing, Nancy Pelosi manipulating stocks, and fuck Larry Fink, the owner of BlackRock. You think Scott Gottlieb is living by the Torah? His grandfather created MK Ultra, and he's the same guy behind the Pfizer vaccine.
Whoa, I'm just going to stop it there. Whoa, why don't you tell us what you really think? Oh my gosh, that's just staggering, And I want to remind you, there was a Jewish gentleman. I played this clip. This is a reflection of how a lot of Jews feel. They are disgusted with Bibi Netanyahu and his regime because what they're doing is raising the ire of the entire world against a lot of very innocent Jews. And they're saying, look, not in our name. When do you stop? Here it is.
I ask Jews all over the world to consider what this man, Benjamin Netanyahu, and his right-wing government is doing to the Jewish people all over the world. They are endangering not only the state of Israel, which I care deeply about and want to exist, but they are endangering the Jewish population all over the world. He is the most dangerous thing, not just since October 7th. It has been a deeply troubled situation.
And endangering the Jews by endangering those in Gaza.
And to watch what is happening for the Jewish people, to allow this to happen to children and civilians of all ages in Gaza, for whatever reason, is unconscionable and unthinkable. And I ask you Jews everywhere all over the world to spend some time alone and think, is this acceptable and sustainable? How could it be done to you and your ancestors, and you turn around and you do it to someone else?
That's I echo his sentiments exactly. And the whole world is really ticked off. As a matter of fact, yesterday I reported that there are many countries that are banding together right now, and they are discussing the possibility of military intervention in Gaza to stop the Israelis and the IDF from starving these people. And again, I remind you, the Palestinians, the survivors, have all been herded down to the shores of the Mediterranean, on the beaches there, and they're not allowed to go in the water. They're not allowed to go out there and fish for food, as you know, they're being starved. And when they go to the points where they're going to distribute the food, and these people are starving to death, they go to get the food, and then they open fire on them. Is that Israel defending itself? And the people on the beach, they can't even go in the water. They're sitting there in the sweltering heat. You can't go sit in the water and cool off. They'll shoot you. You can't go out there and fish. As a matter of fact, there's video footage of fishermen out in the boat, little boat, and they're out there trying to get some food, and the IDF is blasting them. This is Israel defending itself. So again, I ask all of the media wonks out there, including all the conservative networks, shame on you. Shame on you. When are you going to start telling the truth? How are you going to backtrack? All this time, Dan Bongino and everybody else, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, everybody out there that's been saying, oh, Israel's our great, we have to defend Israel at all costs. And all of our congressmen, you go up and ask them, hey, is it America first or Israel first? And they scurry away. When does it stop? How are you going to backtrack this? How are you going to say, I'm sorry? Oh, yes, we're sorry.
Sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know that we got that from South Park. Anyway, so how are you going to backtrack? All you folks have been defending Israel, and let's face it, they're imposters. And it's in the Bible. Revelation 2:9, Revelation 3:9. John, was it 480 something? I forget what it is. Yeah, it's right there. People just have to, open their eyes and start, thinking about this stuff. Oh, man. Okay, we only got a few minutes left here. Oh, my gosh. Time goes by quickly. Anyway, let me see. I got one more thing. Oh, yeah, AIPAC. Yeah, we all know about AIPAC. I got one more clip here, and then we're going to wrap this show up. Here it is.
American government and American politicians taking money from a country that is committing war crimes, and then they can't speak plainly in the interest of American workers because they're compromised. And let's just do roll call on every single one of them. Let's go. New York Democrats who haven't endorsed Mamdani and their AIPAC bag. Laura Gillen, $94,905. SB Ayla, $202,000. Tom Suozzi, $312,000. Dan Goldman, $366,000. Gregory Meeks, $690,000. Grace Ming, $619,000. Kirsten Gillibrand, $997,000. Richie Torres, $1.5 million. Chuck Schumer, $1.7 million. Hakeem Jeffries, $1.7 million. George Latimer, $19 million.
Wow.
What do you think about all this?
Well, I think you can't serve two masters.
Exactly. You cannot serve two masters. So we have to start holding our elected officials' feet to the fire. And I don't care if it's a Republican or a Demopublican, they're all being paid off. There's only a couple of representatives that I can even think of that aren't taking money from AIPAC. And you can go to trackapac.com and look up your senator, your congressperson. You can look up Trump's cabinet. They got all the numbers right there. And the only representatives that I can think of, I might be wrong, I know Thomas Massey isn't taking money from AIPAC. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't believe, is taking money from AIPAC. There's only a couple of them. Of the hundreds of representatives, they're all being paid off. And again, you cannot serve two masters. And sadly, there's a lot of our representatives that have dual citizenship. I'm sorry, if you have dual citizenship, you have no business being in government. You take an oath to the United States Constitution, not to the Israelis. And it's not that I hate Jews. It's not about hating Jews. Anybody that says, oh, this is anti-Semitism. No, raise your hand, slap yourself with it. It's not about that at all. So, anyway, that said, oh my gosh, we've only got 30 seconds left before the music starts. Hey, I really appreciate your listenership, and I humbly and respectfully request that you visit our website, TheWTFReports.com. And a quick reminder, today is the last day that Wave Watch is on sale. You get $150 off if you want to purchase the Wave Watch. And if there's any left, the first 200 people who order would get a red, white, and blue patriotic wristband. And you can get that. Again, go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, and get yourself a Wave Watch. It's based on Rife technology. And we all know that Tesla said frequency is everything. So do your own research. Look it up. Check it out. You won't be sorry. All right, that said, another episode in Broadcast Madness is coming to an end. I, again, appreciate your listenership and ask you to do some business with us. Yeah, we need some support here. That said, I'm going to wrap it up for today's Wednesday Hump Day, Don't Be a Chump Day, and Don't You Dare Crump Day of the WTF Reports. I'm Dave vonKleist. Thank you all. God bless you all. Stay safe, stay free, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Unite. Watch the roaches take flight as you try.